Cincinnati Bengals take down the Atlanta Falcons 35-17 here. The Bengals offense is back, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Burrow, 481 total yards here passing, 3 touchdowns. He had 3 rushes for 20 yards and a rushing touchdown. So 4 total tutties from Mr. Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase had a day. Tyler Boyd had a day. This offense is firing on all cylinders. Aaron, is this it? Are we back with the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, yeah. I mean, I told you guys this. This is why when we had this argument about where they are in the power rankings, I said, hey, don't hesitate to put Cincinnati up high, because they had been being carried by their defense, very similar to what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. Their defense had been carrying them, and you just knew the weaponry that they have on offense. Eventually, they're going to get going. What I saw yesterday from Joe Burrow, was the first time, and this includes the 500-yard passing games that he threw last year, in those 2 games like in Baltimore. This is the first time I said, that's the franchise quarterback. That's the guy right there. If he plays like that, that's the Super Bowl winning quarterback. Even with those big games before, because he did not, he came out just on fire, was accurate, he owned the game. It was everything about the way he played said that's what the Bengals need. Yep. And he did it. So Bengals fans should be very, very satisfied today. And I get it. It's the Atlanta Falcons. And maybe it's not a huge, impressive win. But that's a team that's been scrapping all year, and Joe Burrow made minced meat out of them. Sure, they were down their 2 best corners. Doesn't matter. You did what you were supposed to do. They made absolute minced meat. Are there still concerns about the Bengals offense? Perhaps. The running game is still it's very lackluster, not there. That could be an issue for them going forward. But when you got Tyler Boyd going for 100, Jamar Chase going for 100, and T. Higgins 1 catch away from 100, that's what you signed up for. That's what Joe Burrow is there for, and he showed out. So on the Bengals side, you're sitting here today, and you're very, very happy with the way things played out. And I'll just be honest, they're shooting up my power rankings. So, and I know, again, it was a win against the Falcons at home. I understand all that.
Just the way
it was impressive. It was an impressive game.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, I'm not sure how much you can say, oh, it's the Falcons, because really it's like this Falcons team has been giving hard times to just about everyone they've played against. And
I'll get to that. Because I'm going in on it.
Okay, well, they've been making it hard for most teams that they've played against, and Joe Burrow and company comes in here and just dominates. Joe Mixon, like you said, the rushing game, though, might be the most interesting part, or the most, not concerning, but room for improvement for this offense in a game where there was a lot of good. Joe Mixon, 17 carries, 58 yards. He did find the end zone, though, there. 3 receptions, 33 yards for Joe Mixon as well. Like you said, T. Higgins was just outside 100 yards, and this offense just looked great for the Bengals. Let's shift gears to the Falcons, though. What do you got for your birds?
Yeah, so I've been pretty consistent on this show with giving the Falcons credit this year, as far as they were better than I thought. They play hard, they play tough. Arthur Smith's done a good job. He knows who they are. But this is what gets on my nerves. Because just because you know who you are doesn't mean you have the right to cost your team a chance to win football games. And yes, Arthur Smith needs to be blamed. It was an absolute travesty the way he coached yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals team. They were down 28-0 or some crazy. They score 17 points in the second quarter. They make it 28-17. They're back in the game. It goes to 35-17 in the fourth quarter. And still, he was so ignorant to the fact that they were down by so many points that he's running the ball on first and second down, milking the clock. I've never watched a football game, ever watched a football game, when you're down 18 points in the fourth quarter, 3 scores, or whatever it is, 17, 18, you're down 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and your quarterback has still only thrown the ball 13 times. I don't even know what that is. Like, this is an absolute crime. It's an absolute crime to the Atlanta Falcons that he did not give them an opportunity to come back in that game and win, because he did not want to put the ball in Marcus Mariota's hands. And if that is the case, I don't care about identity. If that's the case, why the hell isn't Desmond Ridder in the game?
Yep. Bingo.
And if it's not the case, if you're just too ignorant, if you really do trust Marcus Mariota, then why are you not throwing the football? You are down 3 scores in a game where your team fought back to get back in it. And now you're down 3 scores. And you think that the Cincinnati Bengals are just going to allow you to continue to just run the football and not like, I don't, with all honesty, I'm watching the end of this game. Like, what in the hell is going on? It's like, you're not giving up, because I don't think Arthur Smith's quitting. He just wants to stay true to who he is. But your team is looking at you like, bruh, why are we not throwing the ball? We are down by 18 points. And I thought that was the biggest travesty of the weekend. Like, seriously, I was like, come on, man. And you can't say they're tanking, because they've won games. They've tried to win games, but this is just how they play football, because they're not comfortable at the quarterback position. But if that's the case, then your ass better put your rookie in that game and let him struggle, because
that's the biggest thing here. We talked about earlier on in the season with teams like Tennessee when they were struggling, and Atlanta, that like, what's the difference? Like, what is like, now Tennessee obviously is in a different position, but Atlanta's not. What's the difference? I would still say
the same thing in Tennessee, though. That didn't change anything. What's the difference between the quarterback?
That's the what is the difference between what Marcus Mariota is doing and what Desmond Ridder is doing? That they can't, like, if you're losing games and you're like admitting defeat in games like the way Arthur Smith did, put in Desmond Ridder, get him going, get him the reps, get him, see what you have in him. I mean, this is I agree. I think it's Desmond. It should be Desmond Ridder time in Atlanta. That's where I'm at. Now the Falcons, though, they moved to 3-4, still right in it though for the NFC South. Maybe they I don't know. Who knows with the way that's going right now. But the Bengals, this is a huge game for them, even though it was coming against the Falcons team that no one had really high hopes for. They took care of business, got the job done. Offense looks great. They win this one 35-17 here